Oh, I got a little bored today. Have some dead print heads here, and I was going to toss it and figured I'd just disassemble it. So we all have nozzle clogs, right? We have nozzle clogs in these printers, especially in the white ink. So I was wondering, what is on the back side of this print head? Like, I'm wondering, how does this actually work, right? We have this manifold here, and we know we can take the manifold off, like so, right? So all this does is direct the ink from the damper into the correct channel on the head. That's all it does. That, you can blow fluid right through it. These really don't get clogged up. Rarely does this thing get clogged up. So if we take the actual print head out of this assembly, let me get one that's not busted. All right, you're going to have this little rubber gasket on there, and that thing easily kind of pops off. It only goes on one way, right? And so inside of here, you've got these little channels. Let me see if I can better shot. Right, these little guys right here. So it's 2, 4, 6, and then 7 and 8. That's where the ink is actually getting pushed through from this manifold right here into those little channels right there. But then where does it go? That's what I'm wondering, right? Because we can't really disassemble this. I tried. As you can see, it broke. But basically, it just goes into these channels. That's where it goes. Where does it come out? I was curious. So I took one off. That one's real dirty. This one's less dirty. But as you can see, I'm going to wipe it off. All right, I wiped it off a little bit. As you can see there, you still have your channels, the ink comes out, and then it appears to just kind of puddle up inside of there, right? This is the actual plate that goes on it, the surface plate. So you can line it back up. There's some little points right there, and then you could take this and align it back up and set it back on there. Now I looked at the build plate, trying to see if we can see through it here. It'll let me. And you can kind of see this one's pretty well clogged up. Those holes are pretty tiny, right? So I'm wondering how we keep blowing out print heads trying to clean them. I think this one went this direction, right here. So what's happening is this thing's building up pressure. The pressure builds up inside of that little channel. This is my best guess. As you can look at it there and see how it's got a little port on either side, right? So the channel is going to fill up with ink, and then it's going to pressurize it and shoot it out of the little nozzles. And you can see those lines right there. So what happens when you waterfall your print head and you put too much pressure through it, my best guess is that, is that this little guy here doesn't really have anything holding it on except very mild adhesive. Very easy did this thing come off. I'm not going to lie. It took almost zero effort to get this off, right? So when you waterfall your print head and you put too much pressure, it just blows this seal up. Then what happens is the ink goes from one channel over into the other channel. So we're pumping it in this one. It's coming out that one because it's going in the path of least resistance. So my question is, can we fix that? If you waterfall your head and you blow it out, could you pop this build plate off, this nozzle plate off right here, clean it, and then reattach it to the print head? My best guess is that yes, you can. And then, you know, it lines right up on these little dots. We just need to know how it affixes to it. If you're going to fix it back on there, I don't see any reason why you couldn't put this back together. Other than the fact that maybe they use a special little sealant to hold it down. We know it doesn't take much pressure to blow it out. So that's what my little investigation today has yielded. And now I'm kind of contemplating on whether or not I actually had some bad print heads. I mean, if you blow out that gasket, right, just waterfalling it, you might be able to fix it. I'm kind of curious. The downside to attempting this is that if you plug this back in and it's not fixed, you could screw and you could burn up your motherboard for sure. So that's the downside. I don't really see why that would happen, as long as you keep the entire head dry when it goes back together. I don't see why you would end up burning up the head, but let's talk about it.